Applause, both sets of players led out by their respective captains, Tottenham's Christian Romero and Nottingham Forest's Morgan Gibbs White. Referee Peter Banks takes the ball off the plinth as the players go to line up. We've got more exclusive Premier League action to bring you this week on Talksport as well, by the way. On Wednesday, Arsenal are looking to keep the title race going for a bit longer. They host Crystal Palace at the Emirates. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. While at 8 tomorrow night, another huge game in the fight for the Champions League places, with Aston Villa hosting Manchester City. Both sides will have a keen eye on tonight's game to see how challengers Nottingham Forest get on. Nuno Espirito Santo's side may have slipped in recent weeks, but they're still on the cusp of bringing European football back to the City ground. A buoyant but heavily rotated Tottenham are looking to knock them off course. Talksport is the only place to listen to live and exclusive national radio commentary of Spurs against Forest. So sit back and enjoy in the company of Danny Murphy and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Faye. What a breathtaking Easter Monday of live football, and we're not done yet on the Talksport network. From the great emotion of the ups and downs in the EFL to the business end of the Premier League season, Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest, two sides with cup competitions to focus on, but for Forest a game of vital importance in the race to reach Europe's top table. They haven't played in the European Cup since the early 1980s, and of course victory here would be a massive boost to those ambitions. It would take them up to third in the Premier League table, and Danny, with fifth spot now being a Champions League place, it makes the race for Europe all the more interesting.
Well, it does, because, you know, if you look at Forest's situation, because obviously they're in front of us tonight, some of these players wouldn't have dreamt about playing in the Champions League when the season started, and now they're a couple of games away from achieving it. Well, you know, 3 or 4 games away, so it's an amazing thing to have to look forward to at the beginning of the season, when you go back to pre-season training, to start picturing those stadiums you're going to play out, those wonderful atmospheres, the experiences you get playing in the Champions League is like no other, Joe. It's phenomenal. And it also it gives you a football education. Now, there are some players, of course, who've done it for many years, but some of the teams we're talking about, if you're looking at Forest, for example, even Villa, I mean, this season's been their first season back in the Champions League for quite some time. Those experiences, the players will want that so much. So I think we're in for a great end to the season.
Well, here are the two teams. For Spurs, Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven and Spence, Sarr, Bentancur and Kulusevski, Odobert, Richarlison and Tell. On the bench, Kinski, Danso, Bissouma, Maddison, Gray, Bergvall, Solanke, Johnson and Davies. Destiny Udogie left out as a precaution. We've seen him doing some running amid the warm-ups. For Nottingham Forest, Sells in goal, Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo and Toffolo, Dominguez, Danilo and Anderson, Gibbs White with Ilanga in support of Wood. On the bench, Miguel, Morato, Sangare, Awonyi, Hudson-Odoi, Moreno, Yates, Sosa and 18-year-old Zach Abbott. And the Tottenham fans being led in song by a trumpeter who is pitch side here at this fabulous setting of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. From Newport County to North London via Leeds and Burnley on the way. Both those teams promoted to the Premier League today. Congratulations to Daniel Farke and Scott Parker. You'll hear from them before the end of the evening here on Talksport. It's been quite a day across the network. These really are the days the fans live for, up and down the country, and Easter weekend is so often the point where the big stories are decided and scores are settled. It's one of those days where the only place to be is the Talksport network. And of course, Forest have it all to play for in the race for Europe, in the race for the Champions League, and they get started at Tottenham tonight. It'll be fascinating to see how great Tottenham's focus is, if any, on the Premier League, with the semi-finals of the Europa League still to come. Forest get the game underway from left to right in the first half in red and white, and Tottenham in white and dark blue, playing from right to left towards the North Stand, the Paxton end, if you know the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the first half. And Forest straight from kick-off win an early throw. Harry Toffolo, making just his first Premier League start of the season, will take it, goes back to Murillo, midway inside Tottenham Hotspur territory. Spurs make the interception through Odobert in the middle of midfield. Kulusevski taps it back to Bentancur, and here's Van der Ven midway inside his own half. Out to Tell on the near side of the field. Halfway line, in between the two head coaches, Nuno Espirito Santo, the former Tottenham boss, and Ange Postecoglou. Jed Spence plays it back to Pap Sarr, middle of the Nottingham Forest half, and he'll roll it back to the halfway line where Van der Ven finds Romero. Just under a minute gone. Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 0. And Spurs with the freedom to attack the game as Tell drives towards the corner of the penalty area. Nico Williams half blocks him. Tell has won it back. Tight angle in the box, shoots. That's turned away at the near post by Milenkovic for Nottingham Forest. It's come back out to Sarr, who whips in the delivery. Murillo heads this one away. Spurs looking for a fast start. Sarr's on the ball again in the left wing area. He overhits the right-footed cross. It's behind for a goal kick, but some early Tottenham intent, Danny.
Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy from Williams at right back. Just lost his footing a little bit. Couldn't sort his feet out, and Tell nice and sharp and got at him and caused him a few issues. So good start from Tottenham. Fascinating looking at Forest. I've seen them quite a few times in recent months. You and I were talking about how they're going to play. It looks like Elanga is playing behind Wood again, which he's done quite a few times. The interesting thing is he's swapped the midfield. He's actually got Dominguez and Murillo centrally, with Anderson and Gibbs-White either side of those two on the left and right, kind of tucked in. He's played a couple of games I've seen him recently where he's actually done it the other way around, with Anderson and Gibbs-White centrally and the other two either side of them. So I love the way Nuno does that. You know, he always mixes it up. I remember early on at Anfield when they got the one and he left Hudson-Odoi and Elanga out on the bench.
Yep.
And then brought them on in the second half when the game opened up a bit. You know, played a narrow 4 to try and nullify Liverpool. He's always thinking, he's always tweaking.
And you're absolutely right to say that he was written off by many after the short-lived spell here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but how things have turned around. And of course Spurs languishing at the wrong end of the Premier League, but still with hope of reaching the Champions League themselves should they win the Europa League at the end of this season. And Spurs win a throw right in front of Nuno Espirito Santo in that very long dark coat, arms folded on the near side touchline. Jed Spence will take the throw, long towards Richarlison, making a rare Premier League start tonight. Header away by Milenkovic, and then long deflected ball high upfield by Nico Williams for Nottingham Forest. It's Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 0 as the ball is headed out of play by Bentancur. 3 minutes gone on Talksport on the day that Leeds and Burnley have been promoted back to the Premier League. Leeds 6-0 winners over Stoke earlier. Then, as you heard live on Talksport, Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. So Leeds and Burnley are up. Sheffield United will have to settle for a place in the playoffs. The other big news to come out of the Championship today, West Brom have sacked Tony Mowbray after their defeat to relegation-threatened Derby County. There's quite the fight to stay up at the bottom end of the Championship as well, and the climax will be on the TalkSport network, live and only with us. The ball is with Danilo for Nottingham Forest. Angle pass out to the left-hand side, and Toffolo on the far side of the field, and now Anderson takes up possession, rattles the ball into the feet of Gibbs-White, who shoots early and forces a good save by Vicario. What a take that was from Gibbs-White on the half-turn. Early low shot, turned behind for a corner, 0-0.
Brilliant football. Anderson getting on it, taking a risk, firing a ball centrally through the lines. Gibbs-White takes it on the turn, who's drifted in off that right-hand side into a central area. This is going to be a problem for Spurs. Anderson and Gibbs-White aren't wide players. They don't want to be out there. They're going to move into central areas and pockets. Do the Tottenham fullbacks go with them? Do they shout at midfield players? We saw at Wolves, Tottenham have lots of problems with the movement of Wolves front players. Great little move from Forest, that. Decent save by Vicario.
He was sharp, wasn't he, the goalkeeper, all in yellow. Corner to Forest, whipped in by Elanga, headed away at the near post by Pedro Porro. Hit by Anderson, and it's in! Anderson from the edge of the box, and Vicario got two hands to it, but he couldn't keep it out. What a start for Nottingham Forest. Less than 5 minutes in at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Real fizz on the effort from Elliot Anderson, and it was too strong for Vicario, and Forest get another boost to their Champions League aspirations. It's Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Yeah, poor corner, actually, from Forest. Gets headed away quite comfortably. Falls to the edge of the box, and Anderson thinks, I'll have a go. Strikes it well, keeps it down, but I think it gets a deflection on the way through. Yeah, it does. Got from Bentancur, but I think the keeper should do better. Just having another look here at the angle. Yeah, he's got two hands nearly on the butt. I'm not sure how that's gone through him. I mean, he struggled at Wolves, to be fair to Vicario. His confidence was shot. He's really struggling with his feet and some of the goals that went in, and that was a mistake. It's not. It's a half decent strike with a little bit of a deflection. Skidded up off the grass, but he's got to save that. He's there. What a bonus for Nottingham Forest. Great start for them.
And Elliot Anderson has scored just his second goal of the season, second for the club after joining from Newcastle United in the summer. A degree of fortune about it. Here's Tell at the other end with a cross for Spurs, headed away by Murillo from the edge of the 6-yard line. So it's Nottingham Forest who lead by a goal to nil. And of course, such is the tightness of the race for Champions League football. It really does change the picture. It moves them up to third in the Premier League as it stands. And Spurs are behind again. Remember, having lost 17 times already in the league this season. Van der Ven has shuffled the ball wide to Tell as Tottenham look to respond. He looks lively, the 19-year-old in the early stages. He's poked it back to Van der Ven. And now Bentancur just forward of the centre circle has got the angled ball to the left on. And he finds Tell. Tell with strapping on his right wrist. And he's blocked off by Nico Williams. That's a Forest throw.
I am surprised a little bit to see Van der Ven playing. You know, with the muscle injury he's had. I know he's fit, but he did play, obviously, midweek, so I don't know. They know him better than I because they've seen him train every day, but he's probably the one player for the semi-final you want to wrap in cotton wool.
Well, they did say, didn't they, there'd be plenty of changes, Danny, and there have been 5 in all, but you are right. 3 of the back 4 that started against Eintracht Frankfurt on Thursday playing tonight. Udogie left out of the squad. We think as a precaution, as I say, we saw him doing some running with the team in the warm-up.
He's in.
High ball over the top by Anderson towards Elanga. Inside left channel, Forest already lead by a goal to nil. Elanga onto the right foot, dribbling into the penalty area. Lovely feed from Anthony Elanga. In the end, it took 4 white shirts surrounding him to win the ball back for Tottenham. And Kulusevski has possession now in the right back position on the far side of the field. It's quite a frenetic start. And we know how dangerous Anthony Elanga can be when he's running at defenders like that.
The problem for Tottenham is, obviously they've got the space for him to run in behind, but Anderson and Gibbs-White again were instrumental in that move. If they're getting the ball in those pockets and with space, Tottenham have got to drop. You can't have Elanga running in behind you. He's too quick. One of the, if not the quickest in the Premier League.
Kulusevski up the inside right on the far side of the field for Tottenham at the other end. Barely any of the play in the middle of the park at the moment. Danilo makes a good tackle in front of 3,000 travelling fans, most of whom are wearing red. Quite a mild April night here in North London. Lovely feet by Gibbs-White to shuffle it left towards Elanga. He skips away from the challenge of Romero, who slid in, must have got something on the ball. Little poke out of play, and it's a Nottingham Forest throw. 8.5 minutes gone, live on Talksport. Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
I enjoy watching Gibbs-White so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's effortless for him. He sees pictures. He's got great balance and awareness. His touch is lovely. Can play anywhere. Play central midfield, play as a 10, come off the right, come off the left. Just a lovely footballer, great IQ.
Thoughts on the England reckoning?
I think he's unlucky in some respects in that we've got so many wonderfully gifted attacking
forward players,
but if he keeps playing the way he is, I think he could be in that World Cup squad for sure.
Danilo just holds on to the ball in front of the challenge of Kulusevski and Bentancur. There are quite a few empty seats at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, just looking around. A little sweep from right to left on this bank holiday Easter Monday. The floodlights on here and the sky still blue overhead as Forest go back to the halfway line, and Murillo, the number 5. Crossfield ball left to right into the feet of Gibbs-White, who nutmegs Sarr expertly. Wood with the layoff back to Dominguez, now on to Anderson. Lovely football again from Forest, who lead 1-0. Up to third, with Newcastle in 4th, Manchester City in 5th, Chelsea 6th. Great ball to Wood, and he smuggled it in! The goalkeeper couldn't keep it out! Wood turns it in from close range, and it's 2-0 to Nottingham Forest! Elliot Anderson, who scored the first, sets up the second with a pinpoint delivery, and Wood got a glancing touch on his right foot. Again, Vicario got something on it, but it squirmed into the corner. Wood's mini goal drought in the Premier League is at an end, and it's Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 2, inside 10 minutes.
Might be off. I think he's going to be offside, but we just saw Elanga go in with an Elliot Anderson pass. Elliot Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White are causing Tottenham all sorts of problems. Now, nobody's talking, so the fullbacks aren't going in to mark them, and the midfielders aren't aware of where they are. So irrelevant of whether the goal stands or not, which I don't think it will looking at the replay, but Tottenham do not tactically have any idea on how to stop those two players. It's not coming from the players, not coming from the manager. They had this problem at Wolves with Wolves' system. It's really clever from Nuno that he's played those two in there because they keep getting in to those pockets.
The VAR confirms what we suspected, Danny. The goal is disallowed.
Yeah, it was his shoulder. He was, literally a foot, maybe half a foot.
Yep, it's the shoulder and the side of the head. One half of the head of Chris Wood.
Should be your feet. I've always said, how is it your right shoulder's going to get you offside or your head?
And he's turned it in with his foot. His foot was onside.
Great ball from Anderson, though, wasn't it?
Fabulous ball. But it stays 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. And Chris Wood, who did actually score a hat-trick for New Zealand over the last international break, has still waits for his first goal since mid-February for Nottingham Forest, who have lost their last two in the Premier League. Spurs 1-0 down on the counter-attack with Spence. Down by the dead ball line, whips in the right-footed cross, and it's headed away by Anderson. It'll drop to Pedro Porro, urged to shoot, he can hit them from range, sets up Kulusevski on his right-hand side, back to Pedro Porro with a left-footed curler, little power behind it on his weaker side, headed away by Murillo. What a breathless 12 minutes it's been on Talksport. Forest have the lead, they thought they were 2-0 up before the VAR check, and of course offside the result.
It's a big moment in the game, that. I actually did the Forest game at Villa. They were absolutely outstanding in the second half. Didn't deserve to lose that game. Created a lot of chances and really caused Villa a lot of problems.
It was the two early goals, wasn't it, that did for Nottingham Forest. Unlike them, to go behind first and to go behind early. Tail racing infield for Tottenham, 25 yards out, sprays it right to the right corner of the penalty area. Pedro Porro drills in the cross, cannons up into the air off Toffolo. That's a corner to Tottenham in front of the away fans in the 13th minute, and now Richarlison has gone down.
There's a shock.
And he's helped to his feet by Murillo.
Not used to seeing him rolling on the floor, are you?
Up he gets quickly, at least this time.
I actually like Richarlison. He is game, but he does go over too easily.
The corner is going to be taken by Pedro Porro on that far side, the right. One arm up into the air. This one is going to swing away from goal. Here it comes, high into the air. Headed goalwards by Bentancur. Takes a deflection, and it falls for Tell on the half volley. Hit it, but it was blocked. Drops to the edge of the penalty area. Nobody can get to it except for Pedro Porro, who's won it back inside the area in front of Williams. Now Kulusevski takes over, gliding towards the dead ball line. His pullback is poor. He was head down there, really. And Danilo sweeps it clear, high up towards halfway. Spence is there covering in front of Ilanga to knock it out of play. And that's a throw to Nottingham Forest, to a 1-0 up.
It's a threat, isn't it? You can see why he plays Ilanga higher up, and he's done it for a little while now in certain games because of that threat in behind, especially teams who play a high line.
Whatever happens tonight, you can have your say on the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy from 10 here on Talksport. 03717 223344. Leeds and Burnley promoted today back to the Premier League, and Tony Mowbray's been sacked as the West Brom head coach after their defeat to Derby. They're 6 points off the playoffs, West Brom, with just 2 games to go. Wrexham up to second in League One. Morecambe have been relegated out of the Football League. 03717 223344. Whatever your team, we want to hear from you on Talksport. And then tomorrow night it's Manchester City against Aston Villa in the Premier League. Arsenal against Palace live with us on Wednesday. And if Arsenal were to lose, Liverpool would be crowned champions in midweek. So we've got all the big live football for you into the midweek. The semi-finals of the FA Cup this weekend. That's Nottingham Forest's next game against Manchester City at Wembley on Sunday. Everybody talks as though it's only Tottenham that have got cup games to focus on, but I tell you what, the FA Cup semi-finals pretty big for Forest as well.
It's a fantastic point, and I've completely forgotten about it in terms of
Pedro Porro's cross headed away by Milenkovic.
In terms of players thinking about that, you know, and avoiding trouble, but you can't when you're trying to get in the Champions League.
Anderson on the halfway line, and he was caught by Christian Romero. A lunge from Romero, who isn't not unlike him to make a slightly rash challenge. Catches Anderson.
I don't think there was that much in it, actually. I like the fact that Anderson, as he went down, he kind of jumped back up just to show there wasn't any contact. Yeah, he didn't actually get him. Yeah,
not much in there from Romero. He had got the replays in our in our commentary position on the little monitors. Quarter of an hour gone, Nottingham Forest lead at Tottenham by 1-0. And as I say, more reaction to the news that Leeds and Burnley have been promoted at half-time on Talksport, where hopefully we'll bring you reaction from Scott Parker and Daniel Farker, although I'm sure the celebrations are only just beginning at the moment. Murillo's early ball from the free kick for Forest, down the inside left. Elanga in a crossing position, taking on Pedro Porro. Right-footed delivery towards Wood. He's beaten the goalkeeper to it. He's headed it in, and this one will count surely. Vicario nowhere. Wood rising highest, as he so often does. That's his first Forest goal since mid-February, all right. 19 for the season in the Premier League for Chris Wood. And Nottingham Forest deservedly lead at Tottenham by 2-0.
Well, it was quick thinking, quick free kick. Elanga down the left, 1-on-1. Cuts inside and whips in a ball from that left-hand side. It's got pace, it's in the right area, it's teasing the goalkeeper. He's onside this time, although good old Vicario is struggling. He's punching thin air there. I'm not suggesting if he stayed on his line he'd have saved it, because it's a good header from Chris Wood. But by coming out that far and trying to get it, doesn't get off the ground high enough. It's a brilliant header, but he can't come for it there.
6'4", Chris Wood, leaping majestically on the edge of the 6-yard box, planting the header into the bottom corner. 17 minutes gone, Tottenham 2-0 down, and Ange Postecoglou with a stern look on his face, arms folded on the edge of his technical area. Tottenham's Premier League season continues to plumb new depths as they come forward on the attack straight away, and the cross from the right-hand side from Odobert nearly flung itself over Sells. The ball has stayed in play at the opposite corner flag, 10 on the near side, the left, and Tottenham will go again. White shirts inside the penalty area, waiting for the ball in from the near side of the field, but already Forest, who are by and large so resolute defensively, have a 2-goal cushion to defend. Live on Talksport, and there are question marks about the goalkeeper Vicario for both of them. Van der Ven scampering down the left. He sets up Tell, ready to whip the ball in, right-footed. That's a great delivery, headed away, drops to Pedro Porro, right edge of the box. He was blocked off effectively there by Murillo just as he was running onto it, and you thought he might shoot. Murillo got in the way. Now on the right-hand side is Odobert, far side of the field. His old club Burnley have gone back up today. Odobert out on the right-hand channel, in front of the Forest fans. Back to Pedro Porro, low ball in, missed by Murillo this time, but Williams was behind him, the former Liverpool man, to drive it clear of danger.
Yeah, they've got to get Odobert on the ball as much as they can. He's a real threat. I think it's Chocolo's first start, we said, didn't we? Test him out, see where he's at with his fitness. Because Odobert can run, he's got good feet, keep getting him the ball.
The Nottingham Forest fans are in jubilant mood. They haven't played at the top tier of European football since the early 1980s. They are third in the Premier League as it stands, with just 5 games to go after tonight. Tell for Spurs, infield to Odobert, edge of the T-curler, turned behind by Sells, corner.
Yeah, that's the man I'm talking about. Saw quite a bit of him at Burnley. He's got super talent. He's got to keep giving him the ball, let him express himself. Drifts in off the right-hand side. Turns centrally just on the edge of the box, tries to bend one in the bottom left-hand corner, but Sells does well, pushing it round the post.
Still waiting for his first Premier League goal for Tottenham Hotspur is Wilson Odobert. Corner from the right taken by Pedro Porro, high towards Bentancur. The ball bounces down, only half away by Anderson, could drop towards Romero. Gibbs White, the number 10, with an important clearance back out to the Spurs right. Pedro Porro first to retrieve it. Now Sarr delivers, that's hit the first man, Danilo. And Nottingham Forest with a sea of red shirts back behind the ball, protecting what is already a 2-0 lead 20 minutes into the game on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available on no contract with Now, like Tottenham against Nottingham Forest live right now. Search Now Sports. And Spurs, so far, Danny Murphy, have had no answer to the Forest attacks.
No, if I was Ange Postecoglou, I'd be worried. I'd be looking at how I can solve when they have the ball, the Gibbs White and Elliot Anderson problem, keeping the 2 central midfielders more central and rather than picking up men. But I'd be thinking ahead to the semi-final and thinking about the goalkeeper. we talked about Leeds earlier. I know it's Championship, bit different, but they left Meslier out, didn't they? When he's struggling,
Carl Darlow has been in. Here goes Kulusevski down the inside left for Spurs. Across came Dominguez. Antonin Kinski played quite a bit of football over the winter period when Vicario was out injured, of course. It would be a big call, because once you drop your goalkeeper, Danny, you can't keep chopping and changing.
But this is a few weeks now. He's struggling, Vicario. I mean, he looks devoid of confidence.
Well, he has been at fault for both goals. 2-0 Forest. Spurs corner, whipped in by Tell. Looping header up into the air. Goalkeeper Sells stays at home. It's come back out to Tell on the inside left. Couple of step overs. He takes on Williams. Chips the cross over hit to the back post beyond Richarlison. Pedro Porro will have to retrieve it, hugging that far side touchline. And he's taking on Toffolo in a one-on-one. Pedro Porro to the near post with the cross. Chris Wood is there to clear. Wood, who is now on the score sheet for Forest again. Sarr raiding down the left-hand side. A lot of wing play from Tottenham early on. Tell from the dead ball line crosses, headed away by Milenkovic. For the likes of Milenkovic and Murillo, that's food and drink, those type of balls into the penalty area.
It is. They enjoy it, don't they? They enjoy it. They don't mind it. And Forest don't mind having spells in the game where they don't have the ball. They're nice and compact. You can see the two central midfielders just sitting in front of the back four.
Now Audebert looking to maraud down the right-hand side for Tottenham. Plays it back to Pedro Porro. Here comes another cross. Back post is Tell with the looping header, and it's high over the top. He has scored 2 in his last 4 appearances, but that was never likely to beat Sells from that sort of range.
Well, every time a cross comes in, if you were to replay the moment, the Tottenham cross comes in, the Forest back four narrow up. They narrow up, so there's no spaces in between them. Now, if a ball goes over everybody, like it did then, no problem. It's got to be a hell of a goal to score from where Tell's heading that from. It's brilliant. It's well drilled. You can see they work on that shape when the crosses come in. They're so close together.
And it's up against the goalkeeper in Matt Sells, who's been one of the best in the Premier League.
Really good.
Another player who used to play for Newcastle, but was certainly not a particularly heralded signing when he joined Nottingham Forest about a year ago, but has proven to be an inspired signing. 13 Premier League clean sheets so far this season. And we're midway through the first half at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 2. As the sky darkens overhead now, Spurs on this vast surface. Little flick down the left-hand side by Tell towards Spence, who chips away in behind Dominguez. Williams slides in with a challenge, close to the edge of the box, got just enough of the ball to clear it away. Now Gibbs White raiding forward on the counter, outside of his foot, over halfway, way too much on it, and it's through to Vicario.
He did the first bit beautifully, Gibbs White. Elanga had made the run and then stopped the run. He didn't look up again, but good. It was a good tackle from Williams on Spence just as he was getting in that box. Here he goes again.
He's gone the wrong side of Williams this time. He's tried to prod it right across the middle. Milenkovic in the way this time for Nottingham Forest. Spurs have looked quite bright actually in the wing positions, and Tell and Spence in particular combining, Danny, as they look to get themselves a foothold in the game. Kulusevski left edge of the penalty area with a curling shot, and that's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper who gathers.
Well, I think for Forest, and a lot of teams actually, the lesser of two evils is to give up space wide. Be compact in the middle and give up the space wide. If they start wide too early and try and stop the wingers, then there's big gaps. So, narrow, compact, let the ball go wide, and we know how comfortable they are defending crosses.
Here is Wood, hustle and bustle at the other end. He's laid it back to Anderson on the edge of the D. Anderson is caught, was he? No, says the referee, in a great position to see it.
Should have passed
tackle
it.
From Bentancur.
Elanga was in.
Anderson is still down on the edge of the box. Forest still have the ball with Danilo, and Elanga nudges it wide left to Toffolo, who tries to drill a low ball in. Anderson back on his feet. Then he leans forward as if he's still feeling the effects of the challenge from Bentancur, right on the edge of the D. And the referee didn't seem interested at the time, and he's still not interested.
There was a little kick out. Oh, Romero came in after. Bentancur, little nibble. He's... Romero doing Romero things.
Sliding in.
He did slip a little bit,
chest.
and he left his foot there, yeah.
Hooked over the top by Murillo down the Forest left far side. Pedro Porro on the cover, back to Vicario. Not an easy back pass for the goalkeeper to deal with, but it's a nervy, hurried clearance straight out of play.
Yeah, he's just got to bend it. He's got to wrap his foot around it and get it up the pitch. It's just a He just looks shaky.
Toffolo will take the throw for Nottingham Forest back to the halfway line. Forest 2-0 up to third in the Premier League as it stands, looking for their 18th Premier League victory of the season. Spurs having lost 4 of their last 6 in the top flight. 16th in the table, their lowest ever Premier League finish in the Premier League era. 15th under Ozzy Ardiles in the early 90s. Bodo Glimt, of course, will be the team they come up against, the Norwegian side, in the semi-finals of the Europa League. And both legs will be live on the Talksport network, as you'd expect. They go to Liverpool on Sunday, do Tottenham. So the relentlessness of the Premier League comes thick and fast for Spurs. Sarr in the centre circle, dribbling across to the left-hand side, and a sweeping ball to the feet of Tell, who's always looking to take on the full-back. He's blocked off by Nico Williams this time. Back to Pap Sarr, 10 yards into Nottingham Forest territory. Manchester City against Aston Villa in the latest intriguing game in the race for the Champions League. Tomorrow night on Talksport. Those two teams separated by just a point as it stands. And then on Wednesday, Arsenal against Crystal Palace, live with us. Richarlison back to goal for Tottenham, edge of the D. He gives it away to Danilo. Poor hold-up play by Richarlison. Anderson dribbles in field and is clipped by Bentancur, and that's a Forest free kick. So 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes right now. You can back Spurs to win at 17-2, Forest to win at 4-1 on, or back the draw at 19-4. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+ at gambleaware.org. And 27 gone. Danny Murphy, Forest, good value so far.
I expected better from Spurs, I really did. I thought they might have a bit of freedom, a bit of confidence after going through the semi-final. They do look fragile defensively. I mean, Forest are good. They've set up a really clever system to try and utilise that space behind the midfield of Tottenham, and it's working a treat.
Well, they have a great record against teams in the bottom half of the Premier League. And after today, 4 of their final 5 games are against bottom half teams, at least at the moment, before a home game against Chelsea on the final day, which could be crucial. If it does go to the final day, which it feels like it probably will, the race for the European places. But of course, the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City on Sunday, which you will hear live on Talksport, just as you'll hear the other semi-final. That's Crystal Palace against Aston Villa at 5:15 on Saturday. Luton against Coventry on Saturday in the Championship will be our commentary. Massive game at both ends of the table. Long ball Murillo downfield towards Elanga, header away by Van der Ven. 50-50, and the free kick goes against Anthony Elanga.
Strange, yeah. Wasn't much in that, was there? Shoulder to shoulder. That is a race, by the way. Elanga and Van der Ven, wow.
The 2 paciest in the Premier League.
Yeah, probably.
Van der Ven's been clocked as having the fastest speed, and Elanga the joint second fastest. So head-to-head, it makes for quite a race. Here is Van der Ven midway inside his own half. Angled ball to the halfway line. Out on the left is Tell. Scampers in field and rolls a good ball to the feet of Bentancur. Tottenham 2-0 down. We've played nearly half an hour. Pedro Porro inside right. Infield to Bentancur. 10 yards from the edge of the box. He's worked it wide to that right-hand channel. Odobert taking on Anderson, skipping beyond him into the penalty area. Lovely feed by Odobert, tackled at the last by Wood. Maybe one twist and turn too many from Wilson Odobert. And the ball is swept away by Danilo, only as far as Romero, midway inside the Forest half. He angles it wide right to Pedro Porro. Romero's continued his run into the box. The cross is over his head, headed away by Milenkovic in the end. Now Pap Sarr turns back towards halfway, tall and slender, finds Van der Ven. Tottenham looking to try and build again.
When Porro put that cross in, Romero had gone up from centre-half as a centre-forward. And as he come in, Milenkovic seen him and just body-checked him. Such good defending, such clever defending.
One of the stars of the Forest side, Milenkovic. Odobert inside right, wriggling to the dead ball line, and a great ball right across the face of goal. That almost ended up along the goal line, Danny. Sells, the goalkeeper, must have been confident that it was going wide. It only needed a touch from a white shirt and it would have been 2-1.
Well, he's been nice and positive, Odobert, hasn't he? He's done really well. It's a decent ball, just too quick for anyone to get onto it. I wouldn't blame any of the strikers there, but he seems to be unsettling Toffolo, Keep getting that ball to him. Keep asking him to use his skill and his pace to get in behind. It's positive.
Not played a lot of football at all this season, Harry Toffolo. He is a surprise selection ahead of Alex Moreno, who's on the bench tonight for Nottingham Forest. Nuno Espirito Santo freshening things up somewhat after back-to-back defeats in the Premier League. And we are half an hour into the game, and it is 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. Leeds and Burnley are up. Leeds after beating Stoke 6-0, live on Talksport 2 earlier, and Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. So Sheffield United will have to settle for the playoff places. Leeds and Burnley back in the Premier League. All the reaction to that at half-time. And you can have your say on the sports bar from 10, 03717 223344. Sells with a high-raking ball downfield. The goalkeeper bounces down towards Wood, and then Elanga. Not convincing defensively from Spurs, who have now conceded 51 goals in the Premier League this season. But actually the flag has gone up against Wood on this near side. You're so right, Danny. You said before the game, they're the entertainers. 111 goals in Tottenham games in the Premier League combined, for and against this season, but 51 is way too many against.
It is. And it's not just the goals conceded, it's how easy they are to play against at times. You know, even in this first half hour, the space Forest have had at times, they just commit men forward so early, Tottenham. It's some people say it's courageous, nice to watch, but against good quality players, they just pick you off.
Here is Van der Ven for Tottenham on the halfway line. Spurs playing from right to left in the first half. We watch on from our high vantage point in the main stand. A steep drop to the touchline below, and we're right in between the two managers who've not left their positions on the edge of the technical areas. Postecoglou to the right and Nuno to the left, up against his old club, of course. Out on the right-hand side for Spurs, the far side is Pedro Porro. Darts down the right, looking to get beyond Danilo, who's tracking his every move. Danilo doing a lot of good, diligent defensive work, and he wins it back well in the left-back area. Wood, little nutmeg on Kulusevski. Back to Toffolo, his high ball upfield, straight to Romero, but Forest are comfortable without the ball, as you said, Danny, and they're certainly comfortable defending a 2-0 lead.
They're working really hard defensively. It's a good shape. They're used to doing it. If I was Nuno, I'd want a bit more quality and composure when they do get the ball and win it back. Just extra pass or two, just to give themselves a breather with the ball rather than be without it all the time, because that does become tiring.
And Spurs will get a throw in front of the Nottingham Forest dugout, near side of the field. Jed Spence will come forward to take it. And 2 wins in 11 at home in the Premier League for Tottenham coming into tonight. Their last Premier League victory was against Southampton on the day that the Saints were relegated back to the Championship. Romero in the centre circle. A square ball to Kulusevski just inside the Nottingham Forest half. He's drifting from right to left, and Forest content to sit with everybody in red behind the ball. Tail forward to Kulusevski, back out to the inside left. Spence, good first touch away from Dominguez. Left-footed cross into the near post. Milenkovic is there again. Williams has kept the ball in play to head it clear. Forest fans very vocal in the away section. Here come Tottenham again. Kulusevski back to goal, robbed by Dominguez. And the Argentine is going to play it square to Danilo, who lofts it forward up towards Anderson. Supremely well organised Nottingham Forest, even though actually that ball has trickled out of play.
Yeah, good distances. Always someone to help you. Always someone near you to press with you, to win that ball back. Just leaves them a little bit short at times when they do win it back up for options to play forward, but you can't have the best of both.
And credit to the Tottenham fans who are trying to stay with the team. 10 minutes of the first half to go, plus added time. Good work wide by Dominguez to pick the pocket of Spence. Early ball down the inside right, and Elanga's herring after it. Down by the right corner of the penalty area. Nobody in the middle just yet. Good timing on the sliding challenge by Romero to chop it away from Elanga. Out of play, and it is a Nottingham Forest throw. Nico Williams will come forward to take it on this near side of the field. To be across all the action over the course of the next week and beyond into the closing stages of the season, make sure you download our free app. You can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2 at your leisure. Williams, right wing position for Nottingham Forest. Spurs with plenty back here. Spencer's Won it back. The clearance hasn't travelled far, though. Ilanga back towards Milenkovic, who miscontrolled it, but Richarlison nowhere near him, so Milenkovic is able to retrieve the ball easily, and it's quite a casual back pass to the goalkeeper in light blue cells. He'll hammer it downfield. That's not a good ball from the goalkeeper, and Gibbs White turns back to shout at him, a bit frustrated. It's all the way through to Vicario, and Tottenham can try and build an attack again, and Forest are saying, what can you throw at us? Nottingham Forest, who are 2-0 up, and as it stands, up to 60 points in the Premier League. An incredible turnaround, of course, from where they were last season. Van der Ven's got it in the centre circle for Tottenham. Square to Romero, just inside Forest territory. Quickly on to Pedro Porro. He's got Odobert on his outside. Angled ball to find Odobert, level with the edge of the box, taking on Toffolo now. Back to Pedro Porro, takes a touch, having, I thought, initially thinking about the first-time cross. Odobert delivers one, headed away by Dominguez. It's come back to Pedro Porro again, right corner of the penalty area. Real pattern to these Spurs attacks. Get it wide and get it in. But at the moment, they're not doing enough to beat Forest. In by Porro to the back post, misjudged by Williams, the clearance. And then there's a foul in the penalty area anyway on Dominguez, holding his head. And it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest, Danny Murphy.
Yeah, there's a pattern, isn't there, with because the wide areas of the pitch are being given up by Forest. They are throwing crosses in there. But again, as I said before, it's because they're so comfortable defending them. I'd like to see on occasion, it has happened once or twice, but I'd like to see Porro and Spence go much, much wider and get some 2v1s and take Gibbs White and Anderson out much wider to try and get those spaces in the middle of the pitch for the likes of Kulusevski and Richarlison to get on the ball. But because Porro and Jed Spence like to go in so early, it's easy to defend against.
In the 38th minute, some of the Tottenham fans heading for the concourse areas already. It's not really a mutinous atmosphere tonight. It's almost apathetic at the moment in the Premier League for Tottenham at the end of a really poor domestic season.
Well, I think the win in Frankfurt's given everyone a lift. It's probably why we've not yet heard too much discontent, but I can tell you if a third one goes in, we will.
Here is Romero trying to get Tottenham back into the game. At 2-0 down, good ball between the lines to Sarr, who scoops it up into the air rather awkwardly. Was asking a lot of Kulusevski to pluck that out of the air. He couldn't do it. Bentancur with good tenacity to win it back, but equally well regained by Gibbs White for Nottingham Forest. Danilo on the floor as he's slid in to poke that back to Williams. He's given it straight to Pedro Porro. Urged forward down the middle for Tottenham. Angled ball wide right to Odobert. Level with the edge of the box, and he's isolated Toffolo in a one-on-one. Back to Pedro Porro again, right corner of the penalty area. His cross is blocked by Anderson, and Anderson doing a good job defensively for Nottingham Forest. Bentancur's made a run up the inside right, back to goal, didn't get the right ball from Odobert, and Forest can now break, and this is where they're dangerous. Elanga's made a great run up the middle, ball threaded downfield by Dominguez. He waited too long to find Ilanga, Danny.
That's where the best midfielders see that pass early and they play it. The timing's always right. Execution of a pass isn't difficult if the timing's good. He just held on too long. It was really poor from Dominguez, who's actually been terrific, actually, apart from that. But it was another example of that space in behind.
Pedro Porro, right corner of the penalty area, whips in the high cross. Oh, misjudged by Williams, and Tell has lashed it wide. He really snatched at it on his left foot from a presentable position. It's miles high and wide of the target. He should have, at the very least, have been testing cells from there. Yeah, well, it wasn't a great cross in from Porro. Williams goes to that. I think he thinks, I'm going to volley, I'm going to head it. Gets caught in two minds. Doesn't do either. It falls to Tell. 8, 9, 10 yards out. Slashes at it with his left foot. There were bodies on the line, to be honest, but it wasn't the best finish. I have to say, Murillo in the middle of the park's been absolutely outstanding. His work ethic's incredible. Well, and I mean, they're all working hard, but him especially seems to cover every blade of grass. Well, it is a real team ethic that has been a feature of Nottingham Forest's burst up the Premier League table this season, this unexpected burst. They are the surprise package in the Premier League, and up to third as it stands. And there would be 5 games to go in the race for the Champions League. Newcastle a point behind in 4th, Manchester City in 5th, Chelsea and Villa 6th and 7th. 41st minute, Tottenham 0, Forest 2. Down the right for Spurs is Pedro Porro again in an infield position. Pedro Porro shuffles it back out wide. Audebert into the area. Great cross! Richarlison glancing header misses it. He was only 2 or 3 yards out. It must have skimmed the top of his head. And a let-off for Nottingham Forest as the ball goes well wide.
Well, it's that man Audebert again. He's the one. He's the one that's going to cause the problem. He gets one-on-one again with Toffolo. Or Anderson, no, it's Toffolo, and it's a great cross. Whips it in. I'm not really sure how Richarlison's missed. Best chance of the game for Tottenham. I don't know if he's put off a little bit by Sarr coming in a yard behind him.
They were both going for the same ball, weren't they?
No communication.
But Richarlison is the number 9.
Yeah, he's got to score that. He's normally good in the air, to be fair to him. I can only think maybe he got a late shout, or maybe he thinks he's a Forest player, but he's got to score. Best chance for Tottenham so far, but it's that man Audebert, isn't it? He's the one who's causing them the problem.
Well, we're going to get one foul too many here for Romero. He has now been yellow carded for hacking down Anderson. Just forward of the centre circle inside the Tottenham half for Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou turned away in despair, looking up to the skies. Dark skies overhead now, as Spurs missed the chance to get back into the game. Is it fair to say that at times, actually, Tottenham have looked quite bright, Danny, going forward?
I think they've got into some really good positions very often. I just don't think they've had that final ball, but that was... And Forest have defended really well, but that was the best pass from a wide area we've seen all night. Put it on a plate. Can't do much more as a winger than that.
With game night on Talksport, Easter Monday. Murillo with the free kick for Nottingham Forest. Had a little angle to work with from the very centre of the park, whipped it towards the left corner of the penalty area where it was headed away. Gibbs White tries to chest the ball down on the opposite side of the field, and Murillo in a foot race with Audebert. He wins it not once but twice off Audebert and off Kulusevski. Then he's helped up by Anderson, who gets a tackle in, and that's got the Nottingham Forest fans going on the far side of the field. Total commitment, but real quality in the timing of the challenges as well.
Well, he used his body beautifully just to get there in time. He's a good player, isn't he? Very clever, very committed, quite cultured left foot as well.
Here comes Pedro Porro, sweeping crossfield ball right to left, high to the near side, and Tell brings it down. Tell, the number 11 on loan from Bayern Munich, with a high looping cross. Richarlison's downward header is wide, 6 yards out and free, trying to get over the top of it, and could only nudge it wide of Sells' right-hand post.
Yeah, it was a bit loopy, the cross. There wasn't enough pace on it. He had to try and generate the pace. A little bit behind him. It's the first time, really, that Murillo's let him go. I think he's hurt himself there. He's limping a bit, Murillo. I wouldn't say that's a bad miss at all. I think he's just trying to get over the ball. It's a difficult one.
That's a much harder chance, isn't it, than the previous one.
They've had a good 10 minutes.
Yep.
Good 10-15 minutes, Tottenham. Forest struggling a little bit to get out. I think he'll be looking, actually, Nuno at the left-back position. It's where he's struggling a little bit. Understandably, it's his first start of the season.
Yep, in the Premier League.
I know Williams has played over that side and has a bit more pace.
Well, Murillo is limping a little, and Nuno will keep an eye on that as well. Last minute of the first half here, live on Talksport. Tottenham 0, Forest 2.
He has got Moreno on the bench, hasn't he? Another left back.
He does, and Morato as well, another defender. 2-0 to Forest on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs, with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Stay with us at half-time on Talksport. Reaction to the news that Burnley and Leeds are back in the Premier League. Leeds 6, Stoke 0. Burnley beat Sheffield United 2-1 in our 2 live commentary matches from the Championship today. And so they're both back in the big time. Reaction to come, and you can have your say on the sports bar from 10 as well. Here come Tottenham. Lovely work by Pedro Porro initially to pluck a high ball out of the air. Looked for Audebert. Toffolo got the tackle in. It's a Spurs throw deep inside Forest territory, and 3 added minutes at the end of the first half.
Huge 3 minutes for Forest. Getting in at half-time, 2-0. They can have a rest, reorganise, re-energise. If Tottenham were to get one, it just could shift the momentum of the game, give Tottenham a boost. Important couple of minutes this for Nottingham Forest.
2.5 of the 3 added remain in the first half here. Anderson hammered the ball against Kulusevski. It's dropped for Richarlison in the penalty area. The angle is very tight. Murillo somehow gets a foot in. A little pirouette on the ball. And Forest smuggle it clear, only as far as the dangerous sort of area out on the right. Cross drills into the legs of Danilo. Spirals out of play again in front of the Forest fans, but they are having to soak up some pressure here. It remains 2-0 to the visitors. Those 2 early goals that have set them on their way. Elliot Anderson on the break, and Wood has made a good run upfield. He's calling for it early. Anderson threads the ball down the left instead. That was the more difficult pass. Bentancur gets in front of Ilanga, and in the end has won Forest to throw as we tick towards the halfway point of added time in the first half here on Talksport. What an Easter Monday. Elsewhere in the EFL today, Wrexham moved above Wycombe into second place in League One. Charlton not far behind in the race for automatic promotion. Doncaster, Port Vale and Bradford the top 3 in League Two. Walsall in 4th after the draw at Newport. Morecambe have been relegated, and Carlisle 4 points from safety with just 2 games to go. Out down by the corner flag is Elliot Anderson for Nottingham Forest, who are 2-0 up. Anderson scored the first, Chris Wood heading in the second. And they've been a pleasure to watch Forest this season. It's a collective effort, although there are eye-catching performers in the team, and Chris Wood is obviously one of them, with the 19 Premier League goals. They've got to throw on the far side. It'll be interesting to hear the reaction of the Tottenham fans at half-time when the whistle blows. A lot of empty seats ahead of the half-time whistle. Spurs get themselves a free kick, is it? Down by the corner flag? No, it's a throw. Pedro Porro will take it. We've barely got 35 seconds of added time at the end of the first half to go now. Nuno Espirito Santo back at his former club. He hardly spent any time here. Only 10 Premier League matches. Forward by Anderson in the box for Forest, headed away by Van der Ven. The loose ball retrieved by Nico Williams. Gets in front of Tell, and he's fouled by Tell, is he? No. Enough on the challenge not to concede a foul. Throw to Spurs in the left-back position. That'll probably do it for the first half. The referee has had a look at his watch, Peter Banks, and a second look at the watch as well. And boos at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs behind yet again in the Premier League, but Nottingham Forest will drastically boost their chances of finishing in the Champions League places if they can hold on to this advantage. The goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario arguably at fault for both goals. First, he got 2 hands to Elliot Anderson's fizzing drive from the edge of the penalty area but couldn't keep it out. And then after Chris Wood had been denied a goal of his own initially after a VAR check ruled him offside, he made no mistake just minutes later. Great ball in by Anthony Elanga. Wood heading it in front of Vicario before the goalkeeper could get there to make it 2-0. 19 in the Premier League this season for Chris Wood. Only Mo Salah, Alexander Isak and Erling Haaland are ahead of him in the top flight scoring chance. But it's another team effort from Forest that has them 2-0 in front at half-time. It's Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
Yeah, Forest up to third as it stands. Danny, were the boos warranted from the Spurs fans?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's a poor start to the game, but ultimately the goalkeeper put them in a really bad position to go a goal down early. It's really difficult when the crowd's expecting, you're at home, keeper makes a mistake, and all of a sudden you're chasing. But yeah, it's not been great. I think they've reacted well to going 2-0. Actually, they've made some good chances. They've tried to get back in and get forward and get crosses in the box, but I still think this Tottenham team, irrelevant of effort, because they are trying, it's just a tactical naiveness. They really are. They don't really have any idea to adapt in a game when they see where a team's getting joy. Now that can happen in a game. You know, a team can set up a bit differently and they catch you out. But either on the pitch or from the sideline, there's got to be some adaptability. So yeah, I mean the boos are warranted. They expect better, but I do think the goalkeeper's a real issue for them moving forward in the European campaign.
And they didn't adapt, did they? That midfield, you mentioned it right at the beginning. That's where Forest got all the joy from. Danilo and Dominguez in defensive midfield. Gibbs, White and Anderson forming that box, and then Alanga playing as part of a front two with Wood. That did the damage. Yeah, and it's I touched on it earlier. I mean, we've all seen Forest a lot this season, and I've seen so many adaptations to the midfield. You know, he's played two wingers, one forward. He's played Anderson and Gibbs White as two central players a couple of times. I saw him doing it at Ipswich really well. He mixes it up when they went and won at Anfield, when he left both wide men on the bench, you know, to play that compact four against Liverpool's midfield. I love a manager who's able to adapt the players' positions and the tactical plan depending on who the opposition is. There's nothing wrong with that. And he's got good players. I mean, Gibbs White and Elliot Henderson showed a very good understanding early in the game of their positions tonight and where the weakness was for Tottenham. Because, of course, Bentancur and Sarr are preoccupied with the two central midfield players of Forest, not looking behind them. The two Tottenham fullbacks don't want to go in there because that'll leave a big space out wide, and all of a sudden Anderson's picking up the ball. I mean, he put the ball in for the goal that was disallowed, I think, for Wood, didn't he? He did. And it's meant that Nottingham Forest have a 2-goal lead, so the man who needs to adapt is Ange Postecoglou, and let's see what he says in his half-time team talk. We'll dissect that a little bit more in a moment, because it's half-time here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 2 on game night. Second half coming next on Talksport. Plus, we're going to hear reaction from both the Leeds and Burnley camps after they seal promotion back to the Premier League.
Monday game night on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
You could skydive out of a plane or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. Sale ends soon. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in and drink up. Village Hotels, 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out Goals! With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
A Minecraft movie has arrived in McDonald's Happy Meal. Help your little ones build their own adventure. Explore the overworld and meet exciting new friends. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 6th of May from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. While stocks last, fair ordering policy applies. See mcdonalds.co.uk/Happy Meal.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Get those jobs sorted this Easter with some great deals at Screwfix. Save £20 on the Titan self-propelled petrol mower, now only $179.99. And stock up on screws with a Turbo Gold Wood Screws trade pack, now only $19.99. That's a saving of £30. Don't miss out. These Easter deals must end on the 21st of April. Shop the Screwfix app online or in-store. Subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
At Betfair, we relish the plot twists that football's tense run-in delivers. With titles, promotions and relegations on the line, the form book can take a back seat and the drama has the power to rewrite scripts. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on Accas or Bet Builders on football this week. Betfair. Play different.
Opt-in and previous deposit required. Valid for 72 hours on Football Accas or Bet Builders. Min combined odds of 1.5. T's and C's apply. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Monday game night on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now. Like Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest live today. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Mad for it. Monday Night Football.
On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. This is Game Night on Talksport.
This is Game Night on Talksport. Faker Others with you this Easter Monday. Half-time here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Nottingham Forest back up to third as it stands in their quest for Champions League football next season. They lead Spurs by 2-0 thanks to first-half goals from Elliot Anderson and Chris Wood. So it's time to get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5+ acca lets you down. Pre-match straight-line accas only. Odds of 3-1 or greater. 18+. GambleAware.org.
So right now you can get Spurs to win at 12-1. The draw is currently 11-2, and the win for Nottingham Forest is 11-2 on. Morgan Gibbs-White to score or assist is also 4-1. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. GambleAware.org.
So earlier on today, Leeds and Burnley were both promoted back to the Premier League after Leeds beat Stoke 6-0 live on Talksport 2, and Burnley followed it up by beating Sheffield United by 2-1 live here on Talksport. Burnley captain Josh Cullen spoke to Talksport's Adam Bridge after that huge result.
Josh Cullen, thanks for joining us. How does it feel?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. All the hard work over a long season, a championship season, it's a grueling schedule, a lot of games, tough games every week, every game. So to get over the line in the end against the team that was chasing us hard is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Tell us about this group of players, because you sit and you look and I've seen quite a few Burnley games, and you look and go, well, actually, Esteve is so important. This player, Hannibal, the last couple of games he's come in has been extraordinary, and then there's that linchpin of midfield of you boys holding it all together. It's a fantastic group, isn't it? Yeah, unbelievable. And full credit goes to not only the players, the lads, but the staff behind the scenes, the gaffer, all his backroom staff, coaches, physios, analysts, everyone. He's absolutely amazing, and it was a squad that was put together late in the summer window, and it was a tough period trying to get everyone to gel together and get a team together that could compete this year. And we believed from the start that we could. We just needed a bit of time, and as we know in this league, it's about coming good at the right time, and the run we've managed to put together. 31 games, I think, 31 league games unbeaten is unbelievable, and yes, it's been amazing to be a part of it.
Sheffield United's defeat means that Leeds United are promoted too, and earlier on we asked Leeds fans for your reaction on Talksport. That's exactly what Frank the Leeds fan did on the WhatsApp voice notes.
Full-time whistle goes, Leeds United 6, Stoke City 0. It is so close now.
It means the absolute world to be in the Premier League again. A team with the stature and the support, it just means the absolute world.
The noise is reverberating all the way from West Yorkshire because the Leeds are back in the Premier League too.
We're back where we belong. All right, we had 16 years the first time, spent 2 years in again. This time, we are going to be back there forever, mate. We're going to be one of those teams, one of those stalwarts. We're going to be pushing Europe. We've got the money. We've got the Red Bull money. We've got the 49ers money. We are going to challenge, and I cannot wait.
Leeds United have done it in remarkable fashion.
Yeah, it was remarkable fashion, wasn't it? 6-0 they beat Stoke. Thank you to Frank the Leeds fan for sending that in, and well done as well to Burnley's Josh Cullen Additionally, Leeds and Burnley fans, if you do want to have your say, get your calls into the sports bar 03717 223344. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be taking your calls from 10 o'clock tonight once the game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium finishes. We've got 3 or 4 minutes until the second half kicks off. Former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy still with me looking ahead to the second half. Do you think Ange Postecoglou is going to make any changes? I mean, he made 5 coming into this game. Do they need a little bit of zip or keep doing what they're doing?
The whole team's great squad of players to be around, and every day you just want to get better.
It's because my microphone got turned off by somebody. I think it's a tactical issue rather than a personnel one. But as we've seen many times with Ange, we rarely see a tactical change. Ironically, I think we'll probably see, looking at Morata with the fitness coach, and it looks like he's coming on, he's doing an intense warm-up at half-time. So it could be, and Nuno's done this many times, change the tactics at half-time. He might go to 5 at the back. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's an injury, but if he does go to 5 at the back to protect, brilliant.
Well, Murillo was struggling, wasn't he, towards the end of that second half? He took a little bit of a crunching tackle at one point and didn't look particularly comfortable.
Yeah, true,
so
good point.
maybe that could be the change that's needed. But do you think an early goal is going to help Spurs in this case? They can't be too open because we know the challenge that Nottingham Forest pose on the counter-attack. So what's he going to do, Ange?
I think we'll see a high energy, high press, Tottenham committing men forward. Nothing to lose in terms of Premier League position, so just go after it, try and get these fans excited, get the first goal, and you never know. The problem, like you said, is Ilanga's pace on the break, but I thought the last 15 minutes of the first half was quite promising, especially down that right side. Odebear's got real pace, he looks like he's positive, he's full of confidence. It's imperative they don't concede a third, because this irrelevant of getting through the other night in the semi-final to get to the semi-final. 3-0 down at home to Forest is not something Spurs fans expect to see, and then you might start feeling the anger and the frustration, which you don't want before a semi-final.
Well, 2-0 down and the atmosphere's been really flat, and they booed them off at half-time. They're not happy.
No, they weren't, but that was the first time really it got the booing. You could really hear it. It wasn't toxic in the first half, whereas a third goal, what you want to try and do, and especially here before the semi-final, is just give them something to get excited about. I think we'll see Tottenham really go for it in the second half. I'm really looking forward to it because it will leave them wide open.
Yep, it certainly will. Players are back out on the pitch. It does look as if Ben Davies is getting himself readied, taking on instructions at the moment. We'll see whether or not that will be confirmed in a second. Shaking hands with the coaching staff. We'll see who's coming off, and he is replacing. Right, second half action here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, coming at you next here on Talksport with your commentary team of Danny Murphy and Talksport's Joe Shannon.
Well, there's going to be a double Spurs change, and both central defenders are going off. Romero and Van der Ven substituted at half-time. Kevin Danso and Ben Davies taking to the field. And
looks like Ilanga's off as well.
You might be right, Danny, looking out onto the Forest half of the field as well. Spurs have certainly replaced both centre-halves, and Davies and Danso onto the field. How much of that is precautionary, do you think, ahead of what is to come for Tottenham between now and the end of the season?
Well, I think maybe with Van der Ven, Romero probably worried about him getting sent off rather than protecting him. But yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense in some respect. Just can't see Ilanga back on the pitch yet now. Morata's on for Ilanga, yeah.
So that could well mean a change of shape for Nottingham Forest in the second half. They lead by 2-0, and it looks as though, as Danny did predict at half-time, they are going to go to a back five with Morato slotting in at left-sided centre-half. So it's Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 2 on Talksport, and Forest up to third in the Premier League as it stands, and Spurs looking at an 18th Premier League defeat of the season so far. An extraordinary tally, especially given their 5th place finish last season. They're a long way off that Well,
I'd like to say I'm a genius, but the reality is he's done it before. He's changed systems at half-time when he's winning before and when he's losing, and it's great to see, but
And here come Forest straight from kick-off looking for Gibbs-White, but Vicario is out to claim.
It makes them more solid because the fullbacks can push on the two wide boys who were causing them some problems, can get much tighter to them, and it allows Gibbs-White to play more centrally behind Chris Wood, but you will lose that threat of Elanga in behind. But maybe he thinks, we've scored 2, we don't need to score again.
Oh, we are back off and underway. Tottenham playing from left to right in the second half, attacking the giant south stand, 17,500 seats away to our right. Spurs in white and dark blue.
There you go.
Forest in red and white, breaking on the ball at the moment with Nico Williams, playing from right to left, and he's raiding down that far side, cuts it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Bentancur is in the way to get it away for Tottenham. I'll give you both sides in full in just a moment, but here comes Tell, breaking down the left-hand side and darting into an infield position. Edge of the penalty area has run a long way right into the box beyond Milenkovic, but not beyond the tall frame of Murillo, who was there to stick out a leg and stop the attack, but he has ended up fouling Tell, facing away from goal towards that left-hand touchline, and Spurs have got a free kick, Danny. 2-0 down Tottenham.
Yeah, they got a bit fortunate though on that breakaway, Tottenham. Gibbs-White give the ball away. And then just at the last minute, I think it's Milenkovic makes a really important little block here. Good tackle. Good tackle.
Against the lively Matisse Tell, 19 years of age, who has been lively in recent appearances for Tottenham. Free kick away on the left-hand side. And from a Tottenham perspective, and probably the neutrals' perspective as well, a Spurs goal would really inject some interest into this second half. 2 minutes have been played, and Forest are pretty comfortable at the moment at 2-0 up. They've brought everybody back to defend this free kick. Tell delivers in swinging, right-footed to the back post, punched away two-handed, safe hands from Matt Sells.
Yeah, I'm still a fan of my keeper coming to catch those. He wasn't really under any pressure. He didn't have to punch that. What happened to the goalkeepers who catch the ball? Where have they gone?
It's an increasing rarity these days.
Dear, don't.
Pedro Porro darting down the right, and across comes Toffolo to smuggle it out of play for another Tottenham throw down by the corner flag. As I say, a lot of late arrivals for the second half, a lot of empty seats at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs go to Liverpool on Sunday, the same day that Forest play Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final. Live commentary from Wembley here on Talksport. Spurs win another throw. Now it's level with the edge of the 18-yard box. They had a lot of wide balls into the penalty area in the first half, but though Richarlison had a couple of opportunities, Sells didn't really have a serious save to make. Spurs have gone backwards with the ball. They've got Vicario in goal, Porro, Danso and Davies now the centre-half, Spence the left-back, Essar on the ball now, Bentancur and Kulusevski, Odobert, Richarlison and Tell. 5 at the back for Forest. They've got Sells in goal, Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo, Morato who's come on, and Toffolo the left wing-back, with Anderson, Dominguez, Danilo and Gibbs-White in front of them. Wood, who scored the second goal, Anderson the first, by the way, up front. And now Forest win a throw in the right-back position.
Do you know what?
5 games from the Champions League.
I think it's really clever from Nuno to do what he's done at half-time. He might be half a mind on Elanga for the weekend as well, but from a tactical, it means that the two full-backs now were getting a little bit uncomfortable.
Targeted, yeah.
They can now go really tight and really high against the wingers, knowing they've got the 3 behind them. And also, if the crosses do come in from the Spurs full-backs, who are going to have more time, you've got another giant central defender in there.
It's extra added insurance for Nottingham Forest as they protect this 2-0 lead. 5 minutes into the second half. Bentancur, little tuck out to the right. Odobert runs onto it. First time low deflected cross. Hits Anderson and then cleared by Murillo before it drifts out of play for a corner. And Tottenham having a lot of possession and territory early on in the second half, as you'd probably expect, but no great threat to the Nottingham Forest goal so far.
I'd be happy. 2-0 up. Keep a shape. If you don't need the ball when you're winning a game 2-0. And Forest are one of the best at being disciplined without it.
Forward by Pedro Porro, early high ball into the penalty area, headed away by the towering Murillo yet again. The number 5 gets in front of Kulusevski. Not a great clearance by Toffolo, only as far as Pedro Porro midway inside the Nottingham Forest half. Forest in their red shirts, really surrounding Bentancur now, but he's turned away neatly from Dominguez and he steered it square to Pape Sarr, 25 yards out, left of centre, couldn't get a shot in, had to go wide to Tell. He was under pressure and so is Tell, who cuts it back square. Bentancur beaten by Danilo in the 50-50. And they're made of really stern stuff, this Nottingham Forest team, from back to front really. Milenkovic hammers it high into the dark night sky, up towards Wood, nudge in the back of Danso. Referee allows the advantage to be played because Tottenham have got the ball anyway, Danny.
Yeah. I think it's imperative that when Forest do get the ball up to Wood, that Anderson and Gibbs-White do try and get themselves close enough to him so he's not isolated.
Danso's picked out Sarr, and the touch in the penalty area was heavy. He was out-muscled in the end by Milenkovic. There were appeals from some of the Tottenham fans behind the goal as Sarr tried to take that in his stride. Nothing given by Peter Banks, the referee.
Well, what was brilliant about this, it was a good ball in actually, and a nice touch from Sarr, but what Milenkovic does is he doesn't panic, doesn't lunge or dive in. Just keeps his balance, turns nicely and stays with the man. Really good defending again. I've been impressed with him.
12 million, I think it was, from Fiorentina when he joined the club. What a steal that looks like.
Oh. Quadruple that now if they sold him.
And Murillo, it was just over 10 million in his second season with the club now, Murillo. Two of the best central defenders in the Premier League this season, no question about that.
I think they complement each other well, as you know.
Yeah.
We've got a nice balance, but one's a bigger guy who's more robust, and the other one's a bit cuter and a bit cleverer.
Right, and then left-footed, Tell for Spurs, reverse ball towards Spence, and it's overhit, out of play for a goal kick. Some frustration behind the goal from the Tottenham fans on their feet, but ripples of applause from the rest of the Spurs supporters. Once we're done here tonight, the sports bar will take your calls on 03717 223344 to speak to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, Addy McCoist and Gabiak Bonlahor back on breakfast tomorrow from 6 for more reaction and build up to the midweek football on Talksport. Manchester City against Aston Villa tomorrow night. That's huge in the race for the Champions League. And Arsenal against Crystal Palace on Wednesday. Of course, if Arsenal were to lose, Liverpool would be crowned Premier League champions on Wednesday night. If it happens, you'll hear it live and only on Talksport. Busy day, of course, in the EFL. Leeds and Burnley promoted. Congratulations to them. Sheffield United will have to settle for the playoffs. West Brom have sacked Tony Mowbray with their playoff challenge virtually over. Big win for Derby at West Brom today in their fight against relegation. As Kulusevski strides into the centre circle for Tottenham, who are showing some spirit and fighting spirit, trying to get back into the game. Pedro Porro's cross. Sarr tried a clever flick, having run too far forward to try and hook it into the net, but it's well wide.
See, I think crosses from Porro and Spence from more inside and a bit deeper are less dangerous than the ones that were coming in from Odegaard or Tell, which are higher up and in behind them.
Yeah,
I think that's another reason he's done it. He won't mind that occasionally they're crossing the ball from 20-30 yards away from the 18-yard box. It's an easier ball to defend.
And much more difficult for Sarr to attack there. Had to try a sort of improvised scorpion kick, wasn't it? Was never likely to beat the goalkeeper. Murillo with a completely fair challenge on Rich.
Have you?
No, believe it or not. Do you remember the one Olivier Giroud scored once for Arsenal?
Yeah.
I think it was against Crystal Palace. Wood has tucked the ball down the middle. Gibbs-White could be clear. Hits it early but missed it. Big chance for Gibbs-White. Flicked on by Wood. Right down the middle. He's into the penalty area. By his high standards, he should do better.
Well, a man with his technical capabilities, yes. Causing a problem. Chris Wood gives it him back. He's on the edge of the box. Half volley with his left foot. Just slashes across it a little bit.
Tottenham go long towards Kulusevski at the other end. Not the best of clearances. Pape Sarr hits the ball. Slices it. Miles wide on the half volley. That almost went out for a throw. Goal kick to Nottingham Forest, who lead 2-0. 10 minutes into the second half.
I think he's going to bring Yates on, the midfielder. Tenacious. Maybe for Dominguez, who looks like he might be carrying something. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, Ryan Yates has been there and done it as far as Nottingham Forest are concerned. Came through the youth setup. It's certainly going to be Callum Hudson-Odoi who's stripped and ready to go in the red and white as well, getting some final instructions. Nuno with his back to the substitutes, arms folded on the near side touchline, and Postecoglou watching on likewise, hands in pockets. Here come Forest out on the right, early ball in by Williams, flicked by Wood.
Offside.
And he might reach his own flick on, but the flag is up anyway. That yellow flag on the far side, as Danny was saying, pretty early. And it will be Yates and Hudson-Odoi who are certainly two terrific options to bring onto the field. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who has spoken about trying to impress his old boss Thomas Tuchel and the England reckoning, of course. And Ryan Yates has scored the winning penalty in the FA Cup quarter-final shootout win at Brighton, with the semi to come this weekend on Talksport. Palace against Villa in the other semi-final will be on Saturday evening again, live with us, and a busy day of football before that. Chelsea-Everton in the Premier League, Luton-Coventry, big game in the Championship this Saturday lunchtime on Talksport 2. Just make sure you download our app and then you can be across everything. So Yates and Hudson-Odoi, we'll see in a moment. What do you reckon? You said Dominguez, Danny?
I think Anderson probably.
Yeah. We'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
Spence crosses the halfway line for Tottenham Hotspur, of course, a former Nottingham Forest player. Now Danso on the halfway line for Spurs, yellow boots on to Kulusevski, just into opposition territory. Richarlison back to goal, poor layoff straight to Morato. Loose ball is retrieved by Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur angled ball wide to Odobert, and that took a glancing touch. No, not off Toffolo. Clean off the boot of Odobert. Nottingham Forest throw. Lots of attacking options on the Tottenham bench. I'll run you through those in a moment, but first here's the Forest double change, and it is Dominguez. So that's number one. You were right, Danny Murphy. Yates for Dominguez. Great versatility about the Nottingham Forest team positionally as well.
I think Danilo as well.
Danilo, who doesn't play many games, doesn't start many, but has been effective tonight, applauds the travelling fans, and on comes Hudson-Odoi to give a different attacking dimension.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise his fitness levels might need a bit of work, but yeah, it looks like Elliot Anderson's gone into the middle. He's done well, Danilo, by the way. Yeah, it's been terrific. Elliot Anderson will play in there with Yates, and I think Hudson-Odoi on the left. Ultimately, it's a 5-4-1.
Yep.
You know, when they haven't got the ball, Wood's up on his own, Gibbs-White drops in on that right side.
And Hudson-Odoi will do likewise on the left.
Yeah, but he is a threat, isn't he, on the transitions, because he's got such good feet and he's quick.
Well, he certainly is. His career really feels like it's been revitalised by Nuno Espirito Santo this season. Danso wins the ball back for Spurs. There was a foul on Gibbs-White just over the halfway line, left of the centre circle anyway. And the Tottenham bench, in terms of the attacking options, well, it's a question as to whether Postecoglou will want to risk Brennan Johnson, Dominic Solanke, James Maddison.
Well, he's not risking them for half an hour, is he? Because they're not playing the semi-final till not this week, is it? It's the week after.
1st of May.
You know, and let's be honest, whatever team he puts out, if Liverpool needs to win the league at Anfield on Sunday, he could put 15 of them out. They're not winning.
That is a tough-looking fixture.
I shouldn't have said that, should I?
Well, you probably cursed it now.
No, I haven't, promise you.
Forward by Murillo, high downfield. Two of Danny's former clubs on Sunday at Anfield. We'll have all the updates for you on Talksport in the Sunday session. Of course, Liverpool, as we said earlier, could actually win the title on Wednesday if Arsenal lose to Crystal Palace in our live commentary game.
Tottenham players will hope so, because if they have, and I mean this genuinely, I mean they got done for in the League Cup semi.
Yep.
But if Liverpool, with the fans behind them, need to win that game to win the league, some of these players will never have experienced anything like that.
Liverpool scored 6 here in the Premier League earlier this season.
I was here, yeah.
6-3.
Just 10 in the 2 games then. I know they lost here in the first leg of the semi, so I just missed that out. They actually played well at that night, Spurs, in the first leg, to be honest.
It's a distant memory, isn't it? Now?
It is, yeah.
Spence in the left-back area, back to Davis. An hour gone. Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 2 in the Premier League on Talksport. Forest up to 3rd.
Not had a chance second half, Spurs, have they really?
Goalkeeper has had nothing to do, Sells. Not had a serious save to make in the entire game. Kulusevski fouling Anderson, and Tottenham frustrations may be starting to show, and you might start to get that in the crowd as well. Forest get a free kick, and they're experts at managing these sorts of situations. It'll be played 33, won 18, drawn 6, lost 9. If it stays like this, they'll be a point ahead of Newcastle, 2 ahead of City, and 3 ahead of Chelsea and Villa. As the Forest free kick, big diagonal ball towards Williams.
Yeah, he just needed someone to calm him down a bit there. It was on, but he didn't need to play it. Just take your time. Let the big boys go up. Really slow it down every set piece you get. He didn't need to risk that. He's a young lad. Just that little bit of nous and experience at times to slow it down as much as you can.
Came to nothing, and Tottenham have it back with Kevin Danso on loan from Lens. Now Davis over the halfway line. Davis, the Welshman, early ball up the inside left, well controlled by Sarr, being forced away from goal by Milenkovic, and the last touch was off a Forest man. I think it came off Yates. Throw quickly taken by Sarr, back towards Davis. About 12 yards into the Nottingham Forest half. Spurs from left to right in the second half towards that huge south stand. Odobert scampers infield. Little flick by Kulusevski, tries to find Odobert, who was outmuscled by the number 8 Elliot Anderson. Quick ball threaded wide right to Gibbs White, and here come Forest on the transition. Gibbs White has actually held up the play, and that's probably the sensible thing. 2-0 up, goes backwards.
Really good. That's what I was talking about, his IQ before. You need some players in the team who know when to speed it up, know when to slow it down. And he's definitely one of those. Look, he's frustrated because he didn't get the ball back when he wanted it. He's got to run 40 yards back to the right now, but that's the type of thing you want.
That was a moment to slow the game down. Tottenham 0, Nottingham Forest 2. On Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream all the biggest Premier League games available on no contract with Now, like Tottenham against Forest live right now. Search Now Sports. No sign of any real threat to the Forest goal, but here comes Odobert with a ball in, and that's hit Morato and gone behind off the Brazilian for a Tottenham corner on the near side.
It does feel like this right side is the one area of the pitch that could get some joy. Everywhere else has been nullified by this clever Forest side, but that left side of Forest, that right wing side of Tottenham's attack has looked productive.
Pedro Porro will take it, right-footed and out-swinging, headed by Kulusevski, off the line! What a clearance at the back post! Kulusevski, and Toffolo was there with a bicycle kick off the line. It's a miraculous clearance to keep it at 2-0 to Forest.
Yeah, came from nothing, set play. I actually think he underhits it. Kulusevski gets a header. He's actually headed it from past the corner of the 6-yard box to the opposite side of the goal. It's a brilliant header. And that is an acrobatic, beautiful side scissor kick from Toffolo. We said he struggled a bit in the first half, but he's made up for it there, because that is brilliant.
Unbelievably athletic clearance to turn it away. His last start in the Premier League was on the last day of last season.
Yeah. I haven't had my legs that high since I went to the trampoline park with the kids about 4 years ago.
Oh, what a clearance it was. And it's kept Nottingham Forest 2-0 in front. It's kept that cushion there.
Yeah, keeps the cushion. In fact, it's the one area where you think set plays that Forest wouldn't struggle.
Kulusevski quite good in the air, got the glancing header.
It was, but it was a blindside run because it was a miss hit. The corner was miss hit, so the big boys of Forest weren't there. It was really, really close to the 6-yard corner of the 6-yard.
We're in the 20th minute of the second half. It's given away by Dancer. Anderson inside left, wide to the near side, and Hudson-Odoi who'll just cut it back to halfway. Morato, Yates, they slow the game down with Murillo do Nottingham Forest. Forward by Morato, good turn in field by Gibbs White, stretching and catching Pedro Porro. They have shown some spirit, certainly Tottenham, as Gibbs White is booked. And that might have got them back into the game, but denied by Toffolo's acrobatics.
No, do you know what? I've just seen that tackle. He's got a yellow card. It's great bit of control, actually, from Gibbs White. Just can't sort his feet out. He doesn't even catch Porro, and he dives around and rolls around till I hate players trying to stitch other players up.
And the referee Gibbs wiped the yellow card, but here come Forest on the break with Anderson forward of the centre circle, wide to the right, and Williams. They look dangerous here. Williams to the back post, headed away by Danso, in the right position with Wood and Hudson-Odoi lurking. Tell tries to carry it forward, and Ryan Yates is in the way this time.
Well, it was brilliant from Yates, because Williams had just missed the chance to stand one up at the back post. He tried to whip it, should have stood it up for Wood. He was free at the back post, but on the turnover, Tell thought he was away, but there was Yates doing what he does best, closing people down, winning the ball back for his team. Tremendous.
Well, we wondered when we might see the likes of Solanke and Johnson, and they are going to come on here for Tottenham shortly. Johnson, of course, up against his former club, and Dominic Solanke on a Premier League goal drought, at least at the moment anyway, without a goal in 6 in the Premier League, but did score from the spot against Frankfurt in the Europa League last Thursday. Pedro Porro darting down the middle, 30 yards out. Poor ball towards Kulusevski. Clearance deflects to Richarlison. Good save by the goalkeeper. Odebear cuts it back, and away by Anderson. The clearance took a deflection off the Forest man. It fell for Richarlison, who was denied at close range by Sells.
Well, Nuno's shouting on, calm down, because Williams has just put his team in a world of trouble there, because he's tried to slash the clearance. I mean, there's no... He's absolutely whacked it against Yates from 10 yards because he's panicked. Ends up nearly putting Richarlison in. It's another good save from Sells. Just that moment of panic from Williams. He doesn't need to.
Well, he has been forced into a good save now, and brave goalkeeping from Sells, the Belgian who's being treated out on the pitch, and Tottenham used the time to make the double substitution, and off go Kulusevski and Odebear, and here come Johnson and Solanke to add some attacking threat for Spurs, and 1 or 2 players coming across to the near side to get some instructions as well.
Yeah, he's not looked at his best, Kulusevski. Very rarely do I watch him play, and he doesn't impact the game more than he did. Odegaard, I thought's done well. I'm surprised he's coming off. I've seen very little of Richarlison. I thought maybe he would be the one to depart, but Brennan Johnson's been in good goal-scoring form, as we know, so yeah, makes sense to see him on.
Sells on his feet, and the Nottingham Forest fans chanting in the away section, 3,000 away supporters who might have away trips in the Champions League to look forward to next season. Their remaining Premier League games: Brentford, Crystal Palace, Leicester, West Ham, and then Chelsea on the final day. They've got a great record, remember, in terms of putting away teams in the bottom half of the Premier League. Forest won 13 of 15 such matches coming into tonight, and they lead 2-0 at Spurs. Danso for Tottenham, inside right, and that's completely overhit pass, nowhere near Johnson. Throw to Forest in the left-back position with 22 minutes to go. And for the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes right now. You can back Spurs to win at 28-1, Forest to win at 14-1 odds on, or back the draw at 9-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+. Gambleaware.org. The sports bar comes next. 03717223344. We'll try to bring you reaction from Nuno Espirito Santo and from Ange Postecoglou as well. And you can have your say if you're a Leeds or a Burnley fan, promoted today back to the Premier League after victories in the Championship. They're both level on points, actually, those two teams, 94 points each. And Sheffield United will have to settle for the playoffs in the Championship. Our next Championship game is on Friday night, Sheffield United at Stoke, and on Saturday Luton against Coventry. Johnson for Tottenham finds Porro outside right, blocked off by Anderson. Johnson ready to take a throw. Pedro Porro trying to keep the move going.
Elliot Anderson's willingness to do the basics of a midfielder in terms of tracking runners wherever he goes, not passing on responsibility, doing the job properly. Brilliant with the ball, but great without it.
Johnson's giving it away, swept clear by Morato. Wood has won it back off Danso. It's only Wood on his own here as Davis comes across with a robust challenge. The referee says it was fair, and it's a Forest throw now.
Maybe he made it look a bit more elaborate than it was, big Chris Wood. I think he was expecting the free kick, though.
And he was leading the charge on his own, nobody in red up with him.
I'm not sure he'd have tried that if Van der Ven was coming across. I think he tried to nip it around Ben Davies and have a race with him.
Fancied his chances, did the big New Zealander. 19 Premier League goals now.
Incredible. So pleased for him.
And at the age of 33 too, he's not that far off the all-time Forest record in the Premier League, 22, which was Stan Collymore in the 90s. And well, he's got 5 games to get 4 more Premier League goals that would take him there. The all-time top scorer in a single Premier League season for Nottingham Forest. It could happen. Anderson back to Murillo for Forest. Chips it forward towards Gibbs-White, who can't control. Overhit by Murillo for once. Here come Tottenham. Less than 20 minutes to go and they're 2-0 down. Spence, early ball down the left tail with terrific pace to reach it. Pulls it back. Good work by Williams, tracking back. Deflection on it, corner.
Great recovery from Williams, because Tell is rapid. I mean, Williams is quick. He's always been a good athlete, but he had a yard on him and he just kept going. Good defending from the full-back now wing-back.
Tottenham will get a corner. And plenty forward, plenty of height in this Spurs team. Whipped in by Tell. Danso went up. It hit Richarlison on the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's hacked clear upfield by Gibbs-White and away from danger. Vicario has not had much to do in the second half.
No.
I've almost forgotten he was on the pitch, Danny, actually.
But I think, as I said, with the tactical change, he's set up to defend. You know, some people would criticise that. Some people don't want to see that, but it's part of football. You've worked tremendously hard to get a 2-0 lead. Protect it, no problem. If it doesn't work, of course, you get criticised. But more often than not this season, it's worked when he's done it.
Danso about 35 yards out, urged to shoot by some Tottenham fans. He does, left-footed, and it's not too far wide of the near post. I don't think Sells was expecting that.
No, but they won't mind centre-half shooting from 25, 30 yards. If that's the best they can come up with, they won't mind that at all.
Left-footed, trying to pick out the bottom corner. It was always going away from goal. He does have experience in the English game, Kevin Danso, prior to coming to Tottenham when he was at Southampton. But Nottingham Forest have produced an excellent tactical display so far. Spurs certainly haven't thrown in the towel. No lack of effort from Tottenham, but certainly a lack of quality coming forward today, ultimately. Got a free kick on the halfway line with Bentancur, who'll tap it back to Danso. It's been all Tottenham in terms of possession, but Forest have seen off the threats.
Well, they've had the set play, the one which was the nearest they've come scoring. The other one was a mistake from Williams, kicking it against his own player that ended up in the path of Richarlison, but they've not had an abundance of chances considering they're 2-0 down.
Floated forward by Danso over the top, and well marshalled Murillo on Solanke as it just bounces through to Sells. He was caught there, Murillo, not for the first time in the game. He just trying to walk that off. Taiwo Awonyi ready to come on in the red and white of Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, back from injury. As Sells hammers the ball high up into the air. It drops at the midway point of the Tottenham half. Pedro Porro, the right back, scoops that long. That's just a hoof downfield. Morato let it bounce, nudges the header clear in front of Solanke. Toffolo there to push it forward to Anderson, who floats the ball up the left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi trying to beat Danso to it, but the defender had a head start. Vicario's chip over the head of Hudson-Odoi. Back to Danso, who'll thread the ball up to halfway. In the way is Morato. Back to Vicario, and if Nuno Espirito Santo could have played out, designed the first 74 minutes, it probably would have looked a lot like this, Danny Murphy.
Absolutely. I think he can be very proud of the performance so far, but we know in the Premier League how quickly things can change. A goal can spin a game on its head. You just got to keep doing the basics right. Good, compact shape. No silly mistakes.
Yep, still 15 minutes plus added time to go. Jed Spence, left corner of the penalty area. Further wide is Tell, taking on Williams in that one-on-one. Chips in the reverse ball. Richarlison back post. It skims off his head and drifts behind and away for another goal kick. Here comes the Forest change. Off goes Awonyi, and we've seen the last of Chris Wood for the evening, but he's certainly made his trademark impact on the game.
Yep. Amazing season. Great pro. Good quality. Good finisher. Very reliable this season. He's arguably had the season of his career, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
It's been phenomenal, and we're lucky enough to see the replay now. Great leap, good header from a good cross in. We've seen that so many times this season, but he's led the line really well. Awoniyi, to be fair, he's another physical presence who's more than comfortable fighting with centre-halves and putting himself about. I know he had a long-term injury, but since he's been back, it's been nice for Forest to have him as an option.
Yeah, their number 9 will do the same job as Chris Wood, and his first touch is to win a flick on with the glancing header out to the left. There's a foul on Porro, who goes down clutching his head.
Do you know what? It's really bizarre how the players... Well, it's not bizarre. It's something that annoys me, but it's... The players' reactions dictate the referee's decision so often.
Yep.
He rolled around and held his face. The referee looked and heard him yelp.
And made the decision. Spence reverse ball to the back post. Johnson can't keep it in play. It's a goal kick. I know what you mean, though. They have a half-second look, don't they? And then they see how the players reacted.
Yeah. And if a player jumps up and there's nothing wrong with them, very rarely they'll dish a yellow out. And if he's rolling around crying like a baby, then they'll tend to get a yellow. It's just, honestly, it's something that's really crept in more and more. But
so if we'd got up quickly there, do you think that's just a Tottenham throw rather than a free kick?
Yeah.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they are languishing at the wrong end of the table. Tottenham, they are in 16th. A win tonight, they would have taken them up a few places into 13th position. It's quite congested. Everton to West Ham, 13th to 17th. It doesn't matter a great deal because, of course, the relegation battle is all but done. Ipswich are all but down in 18th. Although there is some discrepancy in terms of where you finish in terms of Premier League prize money, so that might be something of a factor. But Tottenham's focus is on the Europa League this season. We know that. The 2 games against Bodo Glimt, including the away leg on the plastic pitch, and they'll be both live on the Talksport network. 13 minutes to go. 2-0 down to Forest, Tottenham. Solanke plays it back to Tell. Good hold-up play and work rate from Solanke. Tell's got Spence on his outside. Goes infield instead to Danso. Now can he size up another long-range shot? He's gone wide to Pedro Porro on the inside right instead. High ball to the back post, headed away by Milenkovic, and they love those kind of floaty balls in the Forest centre-halves. No problem for Milenkovic there. Bentancur forward of the centre circle, back to Sarr. The endeavour is there from Spurs, but the goals are not tonight. If they got one back now, it could be interesting.
It could. I don't think I've seen a Spurs side not try under Ange. It's not that they don't try. They just sometimes play so gung-ho that they're all over the place tactically, and it just looks chaotic. And that's a separate debate than effort and application. I think we've seen plenty of that tonight.
Yeah, the intensity's been there, hasn't it? But they just cannot break down this resolute Forest. I say back line. It's from the front, isn't it, defensively?
Well, they've still got a wonderful opportunity because the semi-final, really, on paper, they should beat Bodo Glimt 8-9 times out of 10. I know life's not that simple. But with the quality Tottenham have got in their squad compared to the Bodo Glimt squad, they should be in the final. And they can turn this season on its head, but tonight's been... that's beautiful.
What a run from Hudson-Odoi. He's gone 50 yards and then he gets the pass wrong. Crossfield hits Sarr, deflects into the path of Pedro Porro.
Well, that was brilliant from Sarr, getting back in, actually.
And 50, 60 yards there, did Hudson-Odoi. Yeah. 11 to go plus added time. 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. Stay with us on Talksport for the reaction from the managers and the sports bar to come. 03717 223344 to look back on all of the Easter weekend football and what drama we've seen today. Leeds and Burnley promoted from the Championship. Commiserations to Morecambe, relegated out of the Football League. Lots has happened in League One as well. Wrexham up to second spot. They're looking for another promotion. And so a lot to talk about with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy once we're done tonight on Talksport. More live football tomorrow and Wednesday. Man City against Villa, Arsenal against Palace, then at the weekend as well. Pedro Porro's cross for Jonathan. What a save by Sells. What a save to claw that away. The downward header, and the goalkeeper produced heroics to keep that out. He plunged to his right and he's clawed it off the line.
Well, it's brilliant footwork from the goalkeeper to take his time before. I mean, it's one of those crosses we've seen all night, and Forrest just switch off. Richarlison gets his head on it, gets a little bit of pace, heads it down, just gets across beautifully, Sells down to his right. It's a brilliant save. What a season he's had. He looks so full of confidence, doesn't he?
He certainly does. The goalkeeper who has been so key. Johnson raiding down the right. Spurs have got Bergvall on now, and nearly an own goal. Johnson's cross off Nico Williams, and behind for a corner. Bergvall has replaced Pab Sarr, by the way.
That was another great cross in as well.
Oh, it could have gone anywhere. They are threatening here, Tottenham now.
Yeah, they've had that was a brilliant save, actually. Decent chance for Richarlison. You could argue he should have scored in the first half. That one wasn't a sitter at all.
Tell's delivery from the corner headed away by Nico Williams at the near post. So 9 minutes to go. If Tottenham do get one back, it'll be interesting. Forest third in the table. That's where they'll go if they do hold on to all 3 points, but they don't want to let Spurs back in as Pedro Porro drills a low ball into the near post, took a looping deflection off Toffolo, headed away by Murillo from the goal line before it could drift behind for another corner. Hooked over his shoulder by Davis. The header cleared by Milenkovic this time. Bergvall with a strange misplaced header having just come on, but he's got it straight back from Hudson-Odoi.
Got to do better there, Hudson-Odoi. He's better than that. That was a lazy, panicky little volley to no one, little pass. He should have brought it down and got his body in, protected it. He's fresh.
Johnson, right wing position, underlapping run is from Ben Davis, who steers it across and in towards Solanke at the near post. It's off Murillo, it's another corner, and as I say, Forest with 8 minutes left don't want to give Tottenham any sort of route back into this game.
Well, they knew as the game wore on at 2-0, if they drop off and they defend what they got, they're going to get put under pressure.
Pedro Porro will take. Right-footed and out swinging. 2-0 down, Tottenham into the near post. Richarlison, it hit him and then deflected away to Bergvall about 40 yards out. Great crossfield ball to pick out Pedro Porro again on the right. Early ball into the near post, and this time it's away on the volley. Thunderous clearance by Morata. They are having to work hard now on the defensive Nottingham Forest. Tottenham coming forward with a little bit more pace and intensity. It's sprayed wide to Tell. Left corner of the box, red shirts in front of him, drills it in low, hits in towards Solanke. Murillo there yet again. Anderson completes the clearance. Tottenham throw. Murillo down and the game is stopped. And the boos from the Tottenham fans.
They've just dropped off a bit, Forest. They're just giving up territory, and also the wing backs are getting too narrow, which is giving them that space to get the crosses in wide again. I thought for 20-25 minutes, maybe even longer in this second half, they've done really well at getting out and stopping those crosses better, but on the odd occasion they don't. They've caused a couple of problems. We just had the Richarlison header there, and good defending there again from Murillo to get that one out.
7 minutes left on Talksport. Davis darts forward down the inside left. Another whipped cross high to the back post, and this time Toffolo deals with it with his head. Drops down to Pedro Porro. Reverse delivery, diving header only as far as Spence, who catches that poorly, slices it wide on his left foot.
I think he just saw Morgan Gibbs-White in the corner of his eye, was about to hit that. They've had a go, haven't they, Spurs? They've had a go. They've had a couple of chances. The quality's not been great in the final third, but they've really tried to react. I mean, Forest have allowed them to come onto them, of course, and rightly so. I still think, even though they've given up a couple of chances, I thought tactically it was a good move from Nuno. The first half of the second half, I thought they managed Tottenham really well. Did I get that right? First half of the second half, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Header away by Bergvall for Tottenham. They're right on the halfway line. 2-0 down, 6 to go, but they are trying to throw everything at it. Solanke's giving it away, though, and it's dropped to Awoniyi. Square ball to Gibbs-White. Left edge of the centre circle. Tried to prod it down the left with the outside of his foot, but Pedro Porro assertive to win it back.
Yeah, he tried to play him in rather than to his feet there. But look at his reaction, Gibbs-White. Give the ball away, and now he's in the right-back area. He's got such an appetite to do the work, to be a team player. Well done.
Well held up by Awonyi, who scoops the ball to the left-hand side, and now Hudson-Odoi can get on the attack. He looks dangerous, heading for the corner of the penalty area, taking on Pedro Porro. Back to Awonyi, nearly tucked it away from Bentancur, but Bentancur read it well, then slides in to win the 50-50 against Yates. Good battling from the Tottenham man. Solanke, 5 minutes left, plus added time. Sports Bar on the way on Talksport. It's 2-0 to Forest with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Anderson's gone down and he's slowly getting to his feet.
Do you know what? It's understandable. He has covered some ground, Anderson. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
They all have a lot of time off the ball in this second half, in particular for the Nottingham Forest players. 2-0 up on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, they've got a van. The ball is with Tottenham's Bentancur. Solanke back to goal, turns from the angle, and it ends up being a cross that is hammered away on the volley by Yates. Forest have dealt with everything that Tottenham have thrown at them.
They have, more or less, yeah. And when they haven't, the keeper's come up trumps. Well, or Toffolo, that wonderful goal line clearance. But overall, yeah, they defended terrifically.
Bentancur, empty seats starting to appear in North London here, the dark blue seats. Bentancur still on the ball, angled wide to Pedro Porro. Here comes yet another cross. Richarlison does meet it, does head it beyond the goalkeeper, and they are back in it now, Tottenham. It will be an early finish to the game for Nottingham Forest, and you can't say it hasn't been coming. Spurs 1, Forest 2.
Well, that's the third header he's had tonight, isn't it, I think? Third or fourth.
First goal for Spurs, scored in the 87th minute from number 9.
Got to do better to stop the cross, Hudson-Odoi. It's a terrific header. He's found himself in a couple of really good... That's a brilliant header from Richarlison. This time, Sells can't do anything. But that's poor from Hudson-Odoi. He's got to get out there and stop Porro crossing the ball. He's got his fresh legs.
And for Richarlison, it's goals in back-to-back Premier League matches, having scored as a substitute in the defeat to Wolves, and he's given Tottenham some late hope here, and they probably do deserve it on the balance of play.
Well, they've made some decent chances late in the game, and Richarlison's had a couple of them. That was a brilliant header, really good header.
Well, it will be an early finish for Forest. If they were to concede an equaliser, it would drop them down to 5th, behind Manchester City on goal difference, and 2 points is such a big difference.
Well, you can see, I mean, the last quarter of the game, where they've had the chances, really, and those crosses have been getting reined in more and more. Centre-halves look a bit tired. They've not got as close. They've dropped off a bit deeper. And the pressure on the ball to stop the crosses hasn't been the same.
Well, there are big gaps in the stands in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now, but the vast majority of the Spurs fans have stayed for the final 2 minutes plus added time on Talksport. Spurs 1, Forest 2. Forest clinging on to third spot at the moment with 5 games to go. It would be Bergvall midway into his own half, wrestled to the ground by Yates. Is that going to be a yellow card? It is. Taking one for the team there, Yates.
Rightly so. Stood on his hand, I think he's or his wrist, or fell on it. I hope he's okay, because he's a terrific young player, this lad. Oh no, his head, sorry. Took a whack in the head accidentally. Yates has just apologised to him. Always good to see. Little shake of the hands. Get on.
Quickly back on his feet, Bergvall, and maybe Tottenham can smell an unlikely point here.
They can.
2-0 down early in the first half. They've got one back late in the second. We're about to head into the final minute of normal time. Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Massive moments these for Forest as they look to build towards the Champions League places. Look to go up into third. That's where they are at the moment. But these are tense times for the 3,000 away fans. Tell from distance, shoots, deflected away, and then Davis on the follow-up. Hammered that miles over the top. Hasn't scored Ben Davis since December 2023.
That was a bit wild. Great block, wasn't it?
Milenkovic to deny Tell. That was the interesting one, because that was dipping. Sells takes his time. Wonder how much added time we will get at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
There's been that many stoppages, has there? Maybe 3 or 4 minutes?
Lascelles continues to delay, hammers the ball high downfield. How long have Forest got to hang on here live on Talksport? Here comes the fourth official. Steep drop to the touchline down below us. We're right on the halfway line here in the commentary position. We are into 5 minutes of added time. Can Spurs peg back Nottingham Forest and potentially dent their hopes of Champions League football? Spurs with nothing to play for in the Premier League.
No, they can go all in. It's got to try and not drop too deep, Forest. Try and keep a line. Don't think we've seen an offside, have we? Second half, they've been so deep.
They really are defending the 18-yard box. In by Porro. And Richarlison at the back post couldn't get it under control. He's actually fouled Milenkovic.
Yeah,
Peter Banks gives the free kick.
And he's got cramp.
Down goes Milenkovic. 35 seconds into the 5 added at the end of the game. Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Sports Bar next.
I mean, I've applauded the decision to do what they've done second half, Forest. I think it was the right thing to do. The only problem is with it sometimes is that when you do, and you've got so much at stake, of course, let's put that into the equation, is that you do desperately want to keep hold of it so much that you drop off and you stop pressing the ball and stopping the balls coming into your box. There's only so many crosses. I mean, I have to give Richarlison some credit with perseverance for keep getting in there.
Lascelles has been booked for time wasting. Ramon Sosa, the Paraguayan, is waiting to come on for Nottingham Forest here. 90 seconds into 5 added at the end of the game. Forest with the lead by the odd goal in 3. Hudson-Odoi is fouled. That was a little soft. Pedro Porro Bentancur, but it's a free kick to Forest anyway. So who's Sosa going to replace for the final few moments?
Gibbs White.
Yep. Off he goes. They are nearly there. And when you look at the fixtures that they've got to come, Danny, the FA Cup semi-final, yes, on Sunday, and then in the Premier League, Brentford, Palace, Leicester, West Ham. This would be a massive 3 points for Forest.
And also after 2 losses.
Yep.
You know, you put that to bed, you start again. If they weren't to get up, if they were to lose, if they'd have lost this game tonight, 3 on the spin, people start doubting you, your confidence drains a little bit. This would be a huge boost, especially with the weekend coming up, something they can go and enjoy at Wembley. This would be a phenomenal fillet for them.
Forward by Murillo from the free kick, high to the corner of the penalty area, headed away by Bentancur. Forest, I think, are going to head for the corner flag here. Halfway through the 5 minutes of added time. It's really quiet at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium all of a sudden as Hudson-Odoi shuffles in field. Forest go back to halfway. They lead 2-1. Milenkovic with a high ball downfield. Up to Sosa, who flicks it on impressively. It's bounced through, though, to Vicario. Tottenham, 2 minutes plus of added time to go to make it 2-2. 2-1 down Spurs. Pedro Porro over halfway, wide to Johnson. Clattered into by Toffolo. That's a free kick. It's going to be another yellow card, and this is in a dangerous area. It's another nervy moment for Forest coming up, and is there going to be yet another booking for delaying the restart? As Pedro Porro tried to collect the ball for the free kick. I have to admit, Danny, I didn't see who actually delayed it there. Was it Morato?
Yeah. Morato and Porro having a little bit of tit for tat.
No booking, just a talking to.
Yeah.
But Tottenham can send everybody forward in the 94th minute at the South Stand. It's 2-1 to Forest. This is vital for them to hang on. They are in 3rd position at the moment, but if they concede, they will drop down to 5th. Still in the Champions League places, but the race will be even tighter. Pedro Porro standing over the free kick. Here's the right-footed delivery. Headed away to the back post. Tell gets to it. Can he get the shot in? Takes a deflection. Header away by Milenkovic. And not a good header by Awonyi. Straight to Bentancur, but his ball to the left is heavy. Williams is there to win it back. And Williams can hammer it long up towards Awonyi. Last 45 seconds of added time. Awonyi's held it up in front of Spence, and the throw goes Tottenham's way. Forest fans fuming. Taken quickly by Spence. 35 seconds to go now. Well, even with 5 games left after this could be so key to Forest's season. 2-1 in the lead. Pedro Porro blocked off by Hudson-Odoi.
That's better from Hudson-Odoi. That's the first time he's got tied to him.
And it's a throw to Forest, and that might just about be that.
Porro rolling around, nothing wrong with him again. He'd drive me insane.
3 times now.
No, but he does it when there's nothing wrong with him. He does it, and then 2 minutes later he's sprinting like an Olympian.
They're waving their red and white scarves above their heads, the Nottingham Forest fans. We've had the 5 minutes of added time. The referee's taken a look at his watch. Cleared away by Toffolo upfield. Chasing is Sosa. Sosa is in behind. Left edge of the penalty area.
In the corner. He's got to run in the
racing
corner
to try and keep up with him. Sosa with the ball to the back post. It's headed away. Drops to Awonyi. Misses his kick on the volley. We're in added time on added time. Forest lead it 2-1. All eyes on the referee, Peter Banks, as Awonyi goes for the corner. And he's gone down and he's won a throw. Surely now that's enough for Nottingham Forest to lead 2-1.
What was Sosa doing, by the way?
When he was looking for a bit of glory, he was doing.
He was looking for a counter to play someone in on the right-hand side. Run it into the corner.
Yeah. Well, they've done it now.
I know, but imagine that had got intercepted.
We've had nearly 6 minutes of added time. And appropriately, the free kick right in front of the Forest fans, who might be about to celebrate here. A foul on Sosa down by the corner flag, and Tottenham with Bergvall and Tell getting frustrated now. But the ball is exactly where Nuno Espirito Santo and Nottingham Forest will want it. He's about to pick up a very significant victory against his old club. Forest free kick deep inside the Tottenham half. Surely there can only be seconds remaining of added time. Nottingham Forest pick up a monumental victory in the race for Champions League football. You can see what it means to the 3,000 travelling fans. Jubilant celebrations in the away section. Forest soar back up to third, and they are in the driving seat in the race for Champions League football. They've not dined at Europe's top table since the early 1980s. Maybe, just maybe, the long wait is going to come to an end. They have won here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium despite late pressure from Spurs, who put a gallant effort into the second half, but they lose in the Premier League for the 18th time this season, and it's yet more frustration for Ange Postecoglou in the top flight. Frustration too for Pedro Porro, who looked like he was having words with Nuno Espirito Santo at the very end. But it is a huge win for Forest after back-to-back Premier League defeats. Anderson and Wood with the goals in the first half. Richarlison got one back late on, but Forest hold out for an Easter Monday victory of serious importance that takes them up to third in the Premier League. Tottenham 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
Huge significance in the fight for Champions League football next season. The Forest fans were desperate for their players to put the ball into the corner. They were pointing that way. They were still going for their third goal, but Nuno Espirito Santo goes over to applaud the visiting Nottingham Forest fans. His side have done the double over Tottenham this season. Massive in the fight for European football next season. And despite all that pressure, Spurs another defeat, Danny. How did Nottingham Forest win that game in the end? Was it all done and dusted in that first half?
Well, I thought they started the game really well. Got themselves in front. Yeah, it was a poor goalkeeping error, but looked a real threat early in the game. And once they got to 2-0, I didn't expect them to be too adventurous. I thought it was a clever move at half-time, and I've seen him do it before to protect the lead. Now, against a team like Tottenham at home, with the amount of forward players they've got nothing to lose. They were going to come on. They were going to concede some chances, and it was a risk. But I think it was a lesser risk than sticking to what they were doing and going all out for another, say attacking half, but a more even half in terms of the way they'd set up. So bold move from Nuno, paid off, got the job done. Some tremendous performances defensively from Forest. I thought the two centre-halves were terrific again, really were. And from Tottenham's perspective, although we talked about the problem with the keeper, and I still think that is a problem, the reaction was good. They carried on, they tried, there was perseverance, they kept getting in there. Richarlison had a good couple of chances. Thought the wide lads, the young lads who played wide, really were relentless in trying to beat full-backs and get crosses in. So there was some positive second half. Yes, they'll be disappointed they lost the game, of course, but they did make 5 changes. They got bigger fish to fry. But from Forest's perspective, it doesn't actually matter how well they play now. It doesn't even matter. Forget tactics, forget good and bad luck. Win games, get in that Champions League. That would be arguably the biggest achievement probably in their last 20 years.
They also have the opportunity, of course, to win the FA Cup because they've got Manchester City on Sunday, which is live on Talksport in that FA Cup semi-final, which is fascinating. Right, it is time for us now to pick out Man of the Match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the Match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whether you're on holiday, at home or away this summer, Enterprise has locations all over Europe and a vehicle that's just right for you.
You mentioned a number of players there, Danny, defenders, attackers. It was an all-round performance from Forest, but who gets the Man of the Match for you?
Well, there were some good performances, yeah. I thought the midfield boys did well before they were sub. Anderson was terrific, but it was a toss-up between the two centre-halves, but I'd go for Milenkovic. Some of the things he did, really clever, good game management. Even first half, he did a couple of things I recognised. I was like, this guy's really comfortable knowing what he's doing. He's got nous. He's got physical presence, good leadership qualities, got a lovely partnership with Murillo, but I'd go Milenkovic.
He's been brilliant all season for this stubborn Nottingham Forest defence. So Milenkovic is our Man of the Match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.